Hey everyone. So before I get busy, hold on, I think I need to clean my camera lens. Before I get busy installing these, I want to make something very well known. This video was supposed to be on installing RPM A-arms, and it turns out that these model A-arms do not fit this truck. Now, I put these on and they did not fit this truck properly. The mount for your sway bar is way off, like to the point where you can't even use the rear sway bars. And your pins that go into your shocks here are about this much too long with these arms. And I posted this problem on Facebook, and people got back to me and told me that these arms are for the V4. Now, this is not A-Main's fault, which is where I bought all this from. This I'm willing to blame on RPM, because I do believe A-Main just goes by what the manufacturer says. RPM says that these will work for all of your EXB models, and A-Main states it as well, at least from what I understand. Could be wrong on that. Correct me if I am. I don't want to be giving out any false information. But these A-arms do not work on this truck. I can't tell you if the front ones work because I didn't even try to install them. These are going to be going back, but just keep that in mind, guys. 81485 RPM A-arms, at least for the rear, do not work on this truck. You can't use your shock mounting pins, and you can't use your stock sway bars. And I even thought of, just threading a screw in. Well, the problem is these shock eyelets are meant for a smooth pin with no threads on it. So when you find a screw that'll fit through the shock eyelets, there's not enough meat on that screw to bite into the A-arms. And if you find a screw that's big enough to bite into the A-arms, then they won't fit through the shock eyelets. So it does not work, and that sucks, but it's just how it goes sometimes. So those are going to be getting sent back. What we are going to work on are these EXB braces. We're going to install the rear and front ones. The front one, oh, there's quite a bit of stuff to take off, so you may just see pictures for that, and I'll do an overdub with my voice later. I'm not sure. I've also realized that I do believe the front of this chassis is a bit tweaked. You can feel the screws where they're not in straight, and it even looks like it has a bit of a bend to it. So the front brace may not even connect. 130 bucks. You can get a new chassis from M2C, I do believe. And I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think I know what did this chassis in, but I'm not going to blame anybody. My friend launched it pretty hard off of my jump ramp out there, higher than I've ever launched it, and came down right on the front end. And I think that's what did that, but I'm not going to blame him. We were having fun, and I mean, if I don't want to spend $130, I'll price a new normal chassis and see what that costs. But as of now, it's still drivable, it still runs. I just got to keep an eye on that front chassis. But let's get to installing these braces, alright? So, first thing is first, we're going to spin this around. You've got a screw here, and you got some spacers in there, and then you've got a screw in the bottom of your chassis plate here. We're going to remove a wheel to make this a little easier. Alright, bring y'all back when that's done. Alright, we got that wheel off, and I'm going to need a slightly bigger bit for my screwdriver. So I'm going to have to go digging through my box of tools here. So, this is a temporary setup, this whole workspace. I'm actually planning on getting a, this is absolutely useless. Go back there somewhere. I'm actually planning on getting, it's too big. Nickel for every time I had that problem. You were thinking it, I just said it. Don't need that crap. I'm tired of grabbing these things. They're absolutely useless. You put them on a hard nut to get loose, they crack right there. So they're absolutely useless. Buy me a better set at some point. I've had better luck using the stock little wrenches that come with these things, honestly. Oh, where is this stupid driver at? Oh. Alright, so I guess somewhere along the way I lost my dill, or I just don't have the right size. I could have sworn that one of these right here was right, but it's not. I could have sworn this right here was right. Of course it is. I was just overlooking it. Is it going to clear that body post? That's the real question. Oh, it don't look like it. Alright, well, that's got to come off. How far in and what all holds that together? That looks like it is... Is it part of the ring mount or separate? Sorry about the stupid bright light over there. It's my fish tank light behind my TV. Okay, it's just a couple of screws on the back of your shock tower. I turned it on so that maybe we'd be able to see a little better. So I am getting a better workplace eventually. I've priced out a little $100 toolbox. It's actually not a toolbox as much as it is a workbench. But it's a workbench with some drawers and some other things on it. It's got a light and a couple of plug-ins and some other things, and it'll just make all of this a lot better. It's got a pegboard on it. It's what I call it. It's not really a pegboard. It's a deal where you can hang these little. Was I using the right size the whole time? No. Oh great! We're gonna be going through all this again. Oh, thank God. You can hang like these little dills on it, and you can hang parts and stuff like that all over it and all that good stuff. It does have drawers, and it's got a light built in. It's got a couple of sockets built into it for things of that nature. Check that out. So that is actually the same exact pin that goes to your these things. I can't remember the name of them for the life of me at the moment. So that's cool. Reusing parts, nice. Makes things a little more simple. Alright, so you're going to have some spacers in here. You don't want to lose those. And it looks like one is actually wider than the other, so keep that in mind as well. Now all that we should have left to do is to unscrew that from the bottom of the chassis, which is going to be... I'm not sure where. Looks like probably this screw here. We'll give that one a shot. Now, since these are going back into aluminum, we are going to put some thread lock on them. Alright. This is where we find out whether or not I bought the right length of these. Because I've never owned an Arma before, so hopefully I bought the right size. And looks like I did. Alright, good. Good. Okay, so we're going to grab my bottle of thread lock. Where'd it go? Where did it go? That's air filter oil. Where's that thread lock at? There it is. And we're actually going to put it on the bottom of the chassis last. We're going to go ahead and work this in here and get all this put back together first for this, and then we'll work on getting it put in the bottom of the chassis. All right. Where did I put those spacers? Did I throw them in here? Yes. Now, so to know which side the spacers go on, because I wasn't really paying attention, I'm going to have to thread all this back together and figure out where this hole lines up to. Looks like... Can y'all see that very well? I don't think you can. I think this top brace is in the way a little. Anyways, looks like the short one goes on my side, which would be the left-hand side. Alright, cool. So, since this is actually simple and it's a smooth thing, should just kind of slide right in with no problems with threads trying to grab. So we're going to put the short one on the left, or on my side. We're going to go ahead and slide it through the brace. Put the long one on the right or the far side. Try to get it lined up to the best of our abilities. There we go. And then that just screws right back into place. There's that drive shaft. Alright. There we go. Alright, well, we're all lined up. So we're going to put a little dab of thread lock on this screw. I'd never used thread lock before, at least in a tube like this. And when I first did it, I tumped it upside down and went to squeeze it. And that right there happened. So be careful when using thread lock, or else you're going to wind up wasting it. All you got to do is tump it upside down and kind of let gravity do the work. There we go. Give it a bit of a snug. There we go. That is the back one more or less installed. I got to put that body mount back on here. So they do sell these spacers here in aluminum, and one day we'll put some of those on. They sell a lot of aluminum parts for this thing. I'm actually going to use that bit of thread lock there for the one up front. But I'm not sure how to get this one up front off, because there's just so much crap in the way. Looks like I'm going to have to remove the center brace, these little dust flaps here, maybe this brace up here. Hell, I might even have to take off the whole front shock tower. Looks like, maybe. Alright, I'll bring y'all back when I get this a little further taken apart, okay? Alright, so first I thought I had to take the towers off, but I don't. It's these little winglets here. They're two separate pieces. When they're under this bar, they look like they're all the same piece, but they're not. They're separate. So you just take these 4 screws out, lift them off, and then you take out the screws on your top plate here, and this brace should lift off. Alright, I'm pulling my whole steering assembly up now. Oh, what are we taking off again? I need to get to this bottom plate down here, because in order to use this this brace, you have to flip it. There's a larger diameter screw that you use. So this black plate in here has to be flipped. And if yours isn't a V5 or one of the later models, then it doesn't have this plate. You have to buy it separately. Alright, I need to point that out to you guys as well. But I got to get to this plate under here somehow. And I'm not too sure how to get to it right at the moment. Well then, I'll bring y'all back when I get all this off. Alright, so I had to take every bit of this front end apart. I had to take out both hinge pins, because the way this is held together, they got a screw here, and here's your hinge pin holder. So before any of this will lift off of this chassis, you've got to undo all of this in here. Every single flipping bit of it. It's not, I mean, they got this thing buttoned up like Fort Knox. So good for strength, not so much for ease of maintenance. But you know what? If that's what it takes to make it as strong as possible, then go ahead and do it. Now you got no problem with it. So we're going to take this off, and we are going to flip this plate. And the reason for that is we're going to be using a larger screw, which does not come with this kit, so you're going to have to find one. I do believe they tell you what you need in the description, but one of these holes is bigger. Again, if you're not running a newer model, you probably don't have this plate. It's probably only got a single hole in it, so you got to go out and buy this plate here. But we're going to flip it. We're going to put this back on top, and then that little screw that I just took out, we're going to go and put back in. And then we can put all this back together and fit this this front brace under there. So that was a bit of an ordeal figuring that out. I actually had to go and look in the manual for once in my life, where I figured out that there's a screw in the bottom and this whole thing won't lift up. It looks like it should. When you're looking at it, it looks like this plastic piece just lifts off this plate and you don't have to take your hinge pins out. But because of that screw there, you have to take those hinge pins out of the front in order to get this all situated again. So just keep that in mind if you're doing this. And yeah, just remember that, because I sat here for a good, I don't know, 5 minutes going, what in the world? Why will this not come off of here? So what we're actually going to do is take a small screw and just kind of jam it through here to keep this all even while I tighten that screw down. Because if you tighten this screw down, it'll rotate the plate or this bottom plastic piece, and then your screw holes here won't be aligned. So saves a lot of time to just put a little screw through there like that. Now I can put all this crap back together. So now that I know how to do it, it all just falls into place. And you know what, before we do that, we're going to put the new brace in, because that is a very tight area down there. So same as the back brace, you're going to have a bolt here for your diff carriers. See all these bolts? The one right ahead on this side is going to be your brace. Also, you're going to need a slightly bigger bit. And we're going to put thread lock on both sides of this brace. Alright. The back one was just, it just kind of slid through, the bolt did, so there's nothing for it to grab hold on thread wise. But for this front one, we do have two pieces where we're going in metal to metal, so we're going to need some thread lock. Okay, so there's our stock plastic brace that we're going to be replacing with our new aluminum or aluminium, depending on where you're from and what type of sense of humor you have. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of dry fit all this together for now. We're not even going to thread lock anything at this point in time because we're not tightening anything down. So I'm going to have to fish this through here. There's my screw hole. Is this the screw I took out? I think so. Well, I want to make sure. Yeah, okay. Okay. Not even going to get it super tight, because we can tighten that back up once we get it all buttoned back down together. So there's that front EXB brace. It's in, as you can see, as you can hopefully see. Yeah. Alright, so we got it all put together. Let's try something here. Cover your eyes, it's gonna be bright. Oh, that's much better. Now we got some more light coming into the whatever it's called, camera. So we got the new braces in. It's a bit of a struggle up front because there's so many screws to keep track of, but I got it all put back together. It's all in. All of the metal to metal is thread locked now and won't be coming out. At least that's the plan. But yeah, that's the new braces installed. If you're not trying to struggle with a camera and all of this, then it's probably a 10, 15, 20 minute job to do it. But trying to explain things, talking, not paying attention, losing pieces, it does kind of make it take a little longer. And yes, my chassis up here, I do believe is bent a little bit, but I'm gonna buy a new one and keep it off of the 30-foot nosedive jumps from now on, because quite frankly I don't feel like spending $130 on a M2C chassis. Now if a stock chassis for this truck is $100, which I don't know how much it is, then yeah, I'll go with an M2C chassis and use that 60 whatever it is billet aircraft grade aluminum. But yeah, there it is. Added a little more color to it. The next upgrades I want to do to it are the red aluminum shock towers, and we'll do those at some point. But I am gonna go lay down and relax my back because it's killing me from sitting in that chair and bending over this thing. Thank you guys for watching, guys, girls, folks, whatever. And I'll see y'all next time. I'll have a good night.